All right, let's jump right in because you might have noticed something kind of strange happening in the world of money. The lines are blurring, the old rules don't seem to apply, and everything from your bank to your crypto app is acting, well, a little weird. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up perfectly. We're seeing huge traditional players acting like scrappy crypto startups, and at the same time, the crypto rebels are starting to look a whole lot like Wall Street bankers. It's this wild, contradictory moment, and we're going to break it all down with three very different stories. Okay, so for our first story, let's talk about the old guard. We're talking about big banking trying to learn some new tricks from the crypto world. And the star of the story is a name you've probably used a bunch, Zelle. Yep, you heard that right. Zelle isn't some cool startup. It's the payment app owned by the absolute biggest banks in the US. We're talking JP Morgan, Bank of America, Citi, the whole crew. It's the establishment's answer to apps like Venmo. And when I say it's big, I mean get this. Zelle moves over $800 billion a year. So yeah, this isn't just some side project. It's a massive core piece of how money moves in America. So you're probably thinking, if it's that huge and backed by the most powerful banks on earth, why mess with a good thing, right? What's the problem here that needs solving? Well, it all comes down to one simple word: speed. And this is where we get to the real issue. You know that feeling, that dreaded 3 to 5 business days message? It's like your money just takes a vacation on weekends and holidays. But then you look at blockchain technology, and it's 24/7, instant, no days off. You can see why the banks are looking over at that with some serious envy. So what's their magic bullet? Stablecoins. Think of them as just digital dollars that run on a blockchain. Zelle is apparently kicking the tires on this tech to settle payments, which could be a game changer. I mean, imagine moving money instantly anywhere in the world without ever having to think about what a business day even is. You gotta love the irony, right? For years, these same banks were yelling from the rooftops about how crypto was this crazy, speculative, dangerous thing. And now, they're quietly trying to use its engine to power their own car. It is exactly like your dad trashing TikTok and then you find his secret account where he's making cooking videos. So let's be super clear here. Zelle isn't going to start selling you Bitcoin. Nope. This is all about convergence. The old guard is basically window shopping for the best parts of crypto tech and plugging it right into their own world. All right, so for story number 2, we're going to flip the script completely. While the banks are trying to act like crypto, the crypto world is starting to look, well, a lot like a bank. Let's talk about Coinbase. I mean, seriously, this headline feels like it's from The Onion. If you'd told me this 5 years ago, I would have laughed you out of the room, but it's 100% real. Citigroup, yeah, that Citigroup, one of the owners of Zelle, is now partnering up with Coinbase to test out stablecoin payments for their huge corporate clients. And it just shows you the wild ride Coinbase has been on. I mean, they went from being the kid in the hoodie trying to break the system to getting all the heat from regulators, to slowly, carefully building up trust and becoming a serious, reliable piece of infrastructure. And now, the suits from Wall Street are the ones calling them for help. This is a huge deal because it shows how the whole perspective has shifted. For the longest time, Wall Street saw crypto as basically a casino chip, right? A super volatile, risky bet. But now, big banks like Citi are starting to see it as a utility, like a new set of plumbing. Just better, faster pipes for moving all that old money. And honestly, that's the punchline to this whole story, isn't it? The big bad crypto revolution that was supposed to tear down Wall Street didn't tear it down at all. It ended up on its payroll. The ultimate rebel, Coinbase, is now basically the establishment's new favorite IT guy. Okay, so we've got the old guard borrowing from the new, and the new guard working for the old. But this third story, this one's a bit of a warning. It's about the stuff you don't see, the financial plumbing, and what happens when it starts to burst. So let me ask you, have you ever heard of Evolved Bank and Trust? Probably not, but I'm willing to bet you've used their services without even knowing it. They're what's called a banking-as-a-service provider. Basically, they handle all the boring, super regulated bank stuff in the background so your favorite cool fintech app can just focus on being cool. And I mean, just look at this roster. We're talking about the invisible backbone for some of the biggest names out there. Affirm, Wise, Mercury, Dave, the list goes on and on. All these companies you know and use, they lean on Evolve just to function. It's a hugely important but totally hidden part of the puzzle.
But recently, that hidden plumbing sprung a massive leak. First, regulators slapped them with a consent order for basically not doing their compliance job right. So they hire a new CEO, right? His whole job is to rebuild trust. Then, and this is just a complete bombshell, that new CEO gets arrested. It's an absolute nightmare scenario spiraling out of control.
This is really the perfect way to think about it. These partner banks are the power grid for the entire fintech industry. When it's working, you don't even notice it's there. But the second the lights start to flicker, everyone freaks out. And with a failure this big at Evolve, the whole industry is kind of holding its breath. And that's the really scary takeaway here. You have all these amazing, slick apps on your phone, but underneath it all, the entire industry often rests on just a handful of these key partner banks. So if one of them goes down, the whole house of cards could start to wobble. Okay, wow. So let's pull all three of these stories together. We've got a giant bank, a crypto rebel, and a failing plumbing company. They sound totally disconnected, but what do they tell us when we look at them together? What's the new reality for our money? So let's do a quick lightning round recap. 1. Zelle shows the old guard wants crypto speed. 2. Coinbase, the former rebel, is now Wall Street's new best friend. And 3. The mess at Evolve proves that trust isn't just a word you put on your website, it's the entire foundation. So what's the big picture? It's this. Those clean little boxes we used to put everything in, old banks over here, fintech here, and crypto way over there in the corner, those boxes are gone. It's all just blending together into one big, complicated, and kind of messy system. And that brings us to the big final question we have to ask ourselves. We all want things to be faster and better, right? More innovation, instant payments. But as all these different worlds crash into each other, as the financial plumbing gets more and more tangled, are we accidentally making the whole thing more fragile? That's the real tension in this weird new era of money. And it's something that honestly affects every single one of us.